Gentlemen, boys and girls, if you are watching, thank you for joining us back on our second stream that we have for the night. And, you know, we definitely want to talk about this story because it's ongoing, it's continuing. And one thing that I had noticed, and maybe you guys, if you follow me on Twitter, when I went to the original press conference that was had by the sheriff, right? They had put the address of that sister in that description box. And then when it got down to the name of the guy, Michael Drejka, it only said Clearwater, Florida. They didn't put his address out. Now you put the address out of the victim, but you don't put the address out of the shooter. They quickly put the victim's picture out in the media like this. How many times have they not shown victims? But the shooter, they don't put his picture out. The internet sleuths, we need you to get on your job. I know y'all, Black Twitter, any of you guys that like to do that, the squad, find out who this guy is, his picture. He needs to be known. He can't be hiding like that. Because that sheriff over there, he's backing him up and he's being his de facto attorney. If you heard the press conference that we posted from the sheriff. So when I saw the address, I tweeted him. And you can go to my Twitter and look at it. I say, hey, I don't know who's uploading your stuff, but they put the address out of the woman, but you didn't put the address out of the other person. What's going on with that? You know, sometimes you got to tell them. They're covering, you're right, they're covering for him. They're covering because they want to automatically say, yes, this is a clean kill. You got it. Remember, like we said, the white supremacists are the devil that the Bible describes. It's just that simple. I'll shut this off. It's just that simple. The scriptures teach, Jesus himself said that the devil was a murderer from the beginning. And that's what these people are, murderers. Murderers. Now, I saw the full surveillance tape, okay? And, you know, I can't really play that because, you know, YouTube getting real, they getting funny. But if you saw the full surveillance tape, the sister was sitting in her car. He came from his car way on the other side to walk over there to their car, okay? And started walking around their car trying to mess with them. Period. So he's the one that started it. It wasn't them. But in this stream, I want to talk to you about a few things because some of us as black people, we need to understand what we're dealing with here, okay? Many of you are doing things that is going to get you hurt. It's going to get you killed. You're not playing the game right. You're not understanding you're dealing with terrorists and a system that backs up the terrorists. You really don't understand it. Sometimes I think you don't want to. Some of you, not all. Because the realization that you're dealing with terrorists every day, it is not a good thing. Trust me, it's not. So we have a news clip of the sister, and I'm gonna play that. But it's a few things I want to talk about here. So let's switch that particular clip.
I think this is no stand your ground law or whatever, you know, you guys trying to do, because it's really messed up.
Brittany Jacobs angry and emotional this afternoon that the person who shot and killed her boyfriend Markeis is a free man.
I could have been shot and I could have been killed, you know, because he came at me. And, you know, all Markeis was trying to do was protect his family.
Surveillance video outside the Circle A food store in the 1200 block of Sunset Point Road in Clearwater captured the entire incident Thursday afternoon. In the footage, you can see 47-year-old Michael Drejka confront Jacobs over the fact that she parked in a handicapped area, as her boyfriend, 28-year-old Markeis McGlockton, and his 5-year-old son shopped inside. After being alerted about the confrontation, McGlockton went outside and pushed Drejka to the ground. Drejka pulls out a gun and shoots him in the chest. McGlockton died of his injuries a few hours later.
Hurt, man. It's hurt. I mean, this isn't right. It's not right.
Drejka was not arrested because investigators say this shooting is covered under the Stand Your Ground law, which allows the use of deadly force if there is danger or the potential for great bodily harm.
The law did not protect anyone here because we have a killer on the loose that have taken the life of an innocent man. Justice has failed today. There is no one in custody, but there has been a death. We need justice.
I went to Drejka's home earlier for a comment. He closed the door in my face. Meanwhile, the McGlockton family tells me they're in the process of planning Markeis's funeral, and they're also in the process of retaining an attorney.
All right, so that is the latest clip that we have here, and like I said, we will continue to look into this story, but we have to move a little different, ladies and gentlemen. In the last stream, we talked about France, and we also talked about how they're getting more violent because they're getting more desperate, okay? And they know more of them are dying off than being born. They know this. So the white supremacists want to continue his rule. So he wants to get violent with you. He wants to start things with you. And we got to have an understanding here what we're dealing with. We have to understand when we have the proper context of looking at the white supremacists as Satan himself and as the devil that the Bible describes, then you would know how to deal with this white supremacist. Now, you must understand, the devil is a liar, okay? He is the father of lies, and anybody that's a child of his lie like that constantly. People that lie deceive, okay? Now, deception is the belief of a lie, as it were, the truth. Now, one thing that they try to do to you and even other white folks, they'll play this game like, okay, they can't defeat you in the area of truth. They never will, because the truth is not in them, as the Bible describes, right? So they will say things like, oh, you hate white people. That's why you speak up against racism, because you hate white people. Now, remember, they're saying that to get a reaction out of you and get you to defend something that you're not even saying, okay? White supremacists is what you're talking about, not white people. So they're playing that game to get other white people that's probably saying, you know, I can't stand these white supremacists either. I mean, look what they're doing. And then other black folks, you know, some black people, they don't want to be even accused of hating white people. Oh God, no, don't do that. And they go, no, I'm not that way. And try to get them to back off and talk about racism and white supremacy. If they view speaking against racism and white supremacy as hating, then you already know who you're talking to. You always have to remember the words they're using, how they're coming across. They're being deceptive. Any person that tells you you hate me because you're speaking against evil and it had nothing to do with them personally at all, and they're not giving you a retort of anything at all based on what you're saying, understand you're dealing with a white supremacist and a terrorist. Black people got to understand that here. The time out for some of y'all want to be doing your in your feelings challenge and all the other things that you want to do. These people, when they think, they're thinking about killing you. This is what they're thinking about. And they're showing you this in this video. Okay. Now, there's a thing, and I understand that for a long time, you know, people say, well, and even Malcolm X said this, that, you know, the black woman is the most unprotected woman, you know, on the face of the earth. And it's a lot of reasons to that. But to constantly saying that black men don't protect black women, that one video disproves that. But, you know, if you one of those people that can't stand black men, even though you watch this black man lose his life protecting a black woman, you would still say, oh, well, that don't happen all the time. You know, so when you don't, but to the people who know that that's not true, brothers are protect their family. Brothers stand up. Brothers do a whole lot of things out here. We not no weak worm of the dust men, not us. We ain't got to have a gun to show our manhood. That's not who we are. But as black people, we got to understand how to deal with these white supremacists. You got to know how to deal with them, because the first thing they do to you is they play this, and you guys got to stop falling for the okie doke, the bait and switch. That's what this works on black people so well. And I don't know how many news stories I've done Bait and switch is the tactic they use with you. What I mean is they'll come up to you, they'll start arguments. They'll call you the N-word because, listen, stop allowing that to be your Achilles heel, black people. Please understand. Expect them to tell you that. They look at you in certain ways and you could tell they're saying that to you, okay? Stop allowing that word to be your Achilles heel. When these white supremacists, I've heard them say, and I read their message boards, they say they use that word against you because you react to it. You have an emotional response. You just get all unglued. Why do you care what they say to you? They call you the N-word. You can call them something right back. It shouldn't be no problem. Like I said, if they start calling me that, I wish one of them would start doing that to me like they doing to some of these other people. Watch what happens when I cut on my camera. Watch. It's going to be the roast session of the century because I'm going to roast them every which way. I'm not going to put my hand on them, but I'm going to roast them because I understand the bait and switch tactic they do. They bait you to yell, to get upset. They bait you to even want to fight with them. And in the process, while you're doing that and you're loud, the switch is, oh, they're attacking me. 911. And while you going off, they hear you going off. And that's why. Okay, let's go back to this story. Bait and switch. This dude comes start with this black woman. He started it. It was not that brother. He started it. Now, if you get put in the same situation and some terrorists come up to you, and we know from the previous news story that this guy was looking to kill somebody black. He started with another black man, threatened another black man, he gonna shoot him. Called that other black man the N-word. He was looking to kill somebody black because he know in Florida I can get away with this. I know the sheriff is a white supremacist just like me, and he's gonna defend me. Okay? So, if they come up to you like that at your car, knocking on your door, screaming at you about something, you have to play the game. So what you do is when you see them, you pick up the phone, 911. Don't say a word to them. Don't argue with them. Don't say, oh, what you want? Don't do any of that. If they're being aggressive with you, assume a few things. Assume they're armed. Assume they got something on them because you know they're cowards. They're not going to approach you unless they got something on them, okay? Pick up the phone, call 911 and say, yeah, I got this guy out here and he's being so aggressive. I don't know what he's doing. I think he's on meth. He's high on meth, I think. And I think he got a gun. He keep touching his waistband. Can somebody hurry get out here because he's high on meth and he's fussing at me? You got to put it on 911 and don't get off the phone and say, listen, is somebody coming? Because he's still fussing and crack your window, him arguing and making noise. Play the game. Play the game they play. Call 911. Don't argue with them. Don't say nothing to them. Because the moment you argue, you get upset, you do something, then now, especially in a state like Florida, they'll kill you and say, hey, he was attacking me. She was attacking me. Oh, yeah, Mr. White Man, you good. Go home. You're not charged. You got to play the game for what it is, people. You got to. You have to. Think very, very smart. You don't argue. You don't speak to. You don't negotiate with terrorists. You don't do that. Even online. I don't speak to or negotiate with terrorists. I refuse to. You know, somebody was telling me the other day about, oh, you should debate with this particular person in the alt-right. Why? I said, I don't talk to terrorists. Well, what was that going to benefit me? What's that going to benefit my community? I said, why I want to talk to Satan for? It's not no benefit. If I want to talk to somebody, I talk to people within my community or somebody who want to help out. But I'm not going to talk to no terrorists. For what? That's a waste of time unless you're doing it for entertainment purposes. But I'm not even entertained by them at this point. I'm just not. I'm sickened. I'm disgusted. We need to start calling the cops for any little reason. We need to become the black version of Barbecue Pet Becky, Permit Patty. We need to do just like them. Police, he on meth. Because you know the opioids going on right now, so you could just say he on meth. She's on meth. I think she's on meth. She's attacking me. She's following me. I think she's a meth head. Just say she on meth. Because they probably believe you anyway when you say meth, because how many of them on meth right now? Every day you look up, they're talking about some of them on some meth. Use that to your advantage. Just like they'll tell you, oh, I think he's on crack. I think he's on meth. That's why they're following me. They're not acting normal. Something's wrong with them. You're getting a documentation. See, the sister at the car, if she'd have made that phone call, got it documented that he's the one that was the aggressor. He's the one that came up. You get what I'm saying? You got to get a lot of things documented. Now, always, I told you before, assume they're armed with a knife, with a gun, with mace, with something. They never, listen, how many times have you seen them and then you're walking down the street and then they kind of go around you or go or get away from you? If you know that's the normal reaction to you, then all of a sudden you see them just coming at you like it ain't nothing, you better believe they got something on them. Understand that. Don't assume that, I know a lot of times with black people, especially black men, we know we can fight with our hands and all that. They know they can't fight with their hands. So they gonna have something on them. So when they getting bad and just approaching you, say, okay, this cat armed. Just assume they armed. Like the cops, assume they armed. And if they ever approach you and they reaching for their waistband for some reason, and that's a life or death situation, you need to act like the cops. You better stop them from getting to that waistband. Because that brother that pushed him down, when he seen him going to his waistband, if that brother would have rushed him, he probably could have not got shot. Because because the dude was slow with it. If you look at the tape, he was like, he did this. And the brother had actually time to get to him before he got that gun out, and for him to get the gun, square up a gun and shoot him. I don't think the brother thought he was going to shoot him because, most people, they pull a gun, you're like, oh, all right, back off. But now he shot him. So you can't even allow them to pull a gun on you. If they going to reach for their waistband, you better stop them. That's no different than like when somebody say, all right, and they're going to pop the trunk. Well, you already know what they're going to get out of the trunk. You already know what they're going to get out of the glove compartment. Why are you going to let them get there? It's the same thing like the hood. If they're reaching for a waistband, they have something. And assume that they're already armed. Okay? Next thing that we need to talk about. Women. Sisters. Do not ever try to confront, plead with, or defend yourself against a male terrorist. Because in that video, the sister jumped out the car when the brother came up. I noticed that. You don't confront those male terrorists. Use 911 to your advantage. Have something. Have a pepper spray. It's okay for black people to be legally armed. Okay? It's okay. Get armed legally. If they armed legally, you get armed legally. Get you some pepper spray. You can use that. Pepper spray will blind a person enough for you to get away from them. Go for the eyes. You can spray that pepper spray quicker than he can get that gun. If you got it ready to go. Don't say nothing to them. We got to have our sisters not fighting men. Don't engage them. Don't plead with them. Why you call me that? Why you? No. The moment they approach you, you call 911 and say, hey, this guy being aggressive. He's something wrong with him. He's calling me racial slurs. I think he's on meth. I think he got a gun. Say everything that they say just so the cops can come there amped up with them. You got to play the victim. Understand that they already try to say that about us anyway, that we to play the victim. Well, be the victim. You are a victim. Every day you're a victim in the system of racism and white supremacy. You are a victim. You're being victimized. The system victimizes you. So be the victim. Don't engage them. I'm going to reiterate this again. Don't respond when they call you the N-word. Don't respond unless you're going to retort back with a diss. And we already know what to say to diss them. I don't need to go through everything. We know. Y'all say enough in that comment section to already know what to say to them. If you're trying to do a bait and switch on them, because you could reverse bait and switch and try to bait them and try to keep calling them names as long as they're calling you a name. Right? Because the black person that they can call the N-word and they don't flinch, they just call them something right back. They're like, oh, shoot, that don't work. I'm actually calling them the N-word. I'm yelling it and they don't even care. Oh, what kind of black person I'm dealing with? Because this is not normal. So don't ever fall for that. Record them to get their image, their license plate, and car if possible. One thing, once you get off the phone with 911, start recording. If you have access to a second cell phone, call 911 on one and record on the other one. Get their image. Because see, the media not putting out that guy's image. Now, if she would have called 911 and start recording this guy and got his image, what he looked like, uploaded it, in which a lot of you do that, but unfortunately, this situation, that didn't happen. And the surveillance footage, look like they paid for cheap surveillance footage because, come on, they got cameras now that, oh man, you know, it's, I mean, they could have you 1080p, you know, clear as day. So they didn't pay for, I guess, the good cameras. But record with your phone and get his information. Put it online. Let the internet sleuths do what they do. They enjoy finding out who they are, where they work, etc. Now, you notice that in the news report, the brothers say they went to his house. They knew exactly where he stayed, but they still not putting out his information. They didn't even show them going to his house and him saying, nah, I don't want to talk to y'all. They're protecting him. You have to understand, in this system, they're protected. They protect them. So when you're dealing with these terrorists, you have to understand they have a whole system that protects them. This is what white supremacy is dangerous, because they can kill you with impunity and be protected at the same time, and have a sheriff. This is why I told you white supremacy is in every area. It's in law enforcement. You saw how the white supremacist sheriff, he was indignant to a point. He was literally being this guy's lawyer. He was up here tainting the jury. It wasn't supposed to be him saying anything about, well, it's a stand your ground case and he had to defend himself and he slammed. He wasn't supposed to say any of that. Only thing that sheriff was supposed to say was, look, we came out, we investigated. Unfortunately, with the stand your ground law, we can't charge, but we turned everything over to the district attorney and they're going to make a decision on charges. So, because at this time we can't do it. That's all he had to say. And that puts him out the clear. Even though the stand your ground law is screwed up, that will put him out the clear. No, he wanted to go to defending the guy and say he slammed him and he didn't know. And you watch the video, when he pushed him down, he didn't rush him to go kick him or do nothing. He backed off. He actually turned away from him, right? He turned away from him. And when the guy pulled a gun, he still was walking away from him and he shot him. Now, I saw another news report where he had a defense attorney in Florida that do a lot of high profile cases. He was actually a white guy. And he was saying that guy should be charged for the simple fact that he shouldn't have shot him for a push. And you could see him actually, the guy walking away from him when he shot at him. He wasn't rushing him. He wasn't in the commencement of beating him or something like that. It was none of that on that tape. That sheriff just wanted to allow a black man to be killed. Okay. The law has always been slanted in their favor. The juries are slanted in their favor. You have to understand, the moment they do something, they go to protect mode. That's why the mainstream media is dangerous, folks. They are, listen, the few times I agree with Donald Trump on some things outside of him tearing down global white supremacy is when he said the media is the enemy of the people, even though I know he don't like him because they be telling stuff on him. But according to black people, they have always been the enemy of people, especially us. You always told fake news on us, propaganda on us, so much so that the world have an opinion of us and we ain't been to their countries, a lot of us. So the sheriff is already using the media to taint the potential jury or grand jury that possibly could be called, because the prosecutor haven't made his or her decision yet. It depends on black people's response, I think, if he's going to be charged or not. If black people just, oh, well, you know, this is messed up, then no, nothing's going to happen. If black people in Florida take a stand and they're loud enough with it, he may be charged. Because remember, at one point in time, they weren't even charging cops. Only when black people start taking a stand and saying hell no is when cops start getting charged. Understand that they not going to charge them if you don't say nothing. It's just like, hey, you know, it is what it is. But even if they charge the guy, you got to worry about a conviction. I never get excited when I hear, oh, this person was charged. And in the comment section, the white supremacists were heavy the other day. Oh, yeah, well, it was a decent, you know, no, you shouldn't defend this because he pushed him down. So pushing someone down, you should murder a person? You know, we were discussing this same case in the barbershop, and everybody in there was like, you don't kill nobody for that. How many times have you gotten into a fight with somebody, whatever, you've been pushed down? So you mean to tell me that that's warrant you to murder somebody? You're not man enough to get up and fight with the dude? Come on. But see, as black people, we know we can't do things like that because we'll get a murder case. They know they can do it, especially to us, because they're not, it's okay. You remember they had the Casual Killing Act? Where it's okay to kill your slaves in correction. You know, Florida is the same state that would use black babies, tie a rope to their ankle, and throw them in the swamps and use them as alligator bait. You remember that particular video a long time ago called Alligator Babies? But Florida don't like talking about that. It also happened in Louisiana as well. The same state. So once again, when I say that the white supremacists, you know, they're children of the devil, only a devil could take a baby, tie a rope around his ankle, throw it in a swamp for an alligator to get. Godly people don't do things like that. I'm just saying. Thank you, Mr. Isaac Bowman, for helping us with the crowdfunding. I just saw your name pop up. Now, the purpose of us getting the video and showing that is for two reasons. We know a lot of times we can't get justice for anything. The only justice we possibly can get, once you put out the videos, once you put out the license plates, all the other things, identifiable information. First of all, they will be publicly shamed before the world. So trust me, people all over the world are watching these videos. Trust me, I'm getting emails from all over the country about these videos that I'm making, what's going on. So people are watching. So they need to be publicly shamed. That way everybody could talk about this guy. That way people can be on the lookout for this guy. But the media is hiding his face. So the family in Clearwater can't even be on alert. Because you don't know what he looks like. You know his name, but you don't know what he looks like. So how could you be on alert? They're protecting him, ladies and gentlemen. Public shame also brings a loss of income. And loss of income is always a good thing. That's all they understand anyway, is money. So the loss of income could be they get fired from their job, which a lot of you have been very successful in getting these people fired from their jobs. Or if they have a business, they're losing out on their business. Remember Permit Patty had to step away from her weed business because her customers didn't want to deal with her anymore. That is a victory that we have because people got it on video. If you never got it on video, that would have never happened because the system protects her as well. So you have to understand that's why video is important. Use these phones that we have as an agent of justice. Use it. Use that 4G, about to be 5G internet to upload the videos, live stream it, do whatever you have to do to put out the information. Don't let these people get away with treating you that way. We don't have video. See, back in the day, in the time of the Panthers in the 60s, shout out to, the Panthers. They didn't have the video that we have now. So it went on word of mouth. Hopefully somebody got a picture. But now you have the ability to record. You got YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Instagram TV now. You can do up to 10-minute videos. You have all kinds of things at your disposal now. You can put it on your own websites. I mean, we have it where we could spread it worldwide like this, get it out to our brothers and sisters. And even with this story here, a sister, I had just finished doing my videos, and she had emailed me this story originally the day I did it. And I wasn't gonna make no more videos that day, but I said, I saw that. I said, oh no, I gotta talk about this one. I said, this, I can't keep quiet because usually if it's a regular story, I say, well, I'll wait till the next day, see if something else come out. I say, but nah, this one here got to get out. I said, we can't just sit on this one. You know, because some stories you have to get out right then and there, and then some of them you can kind of wait a day or two. But that's one of the stories that you better get it out now, because I've been watching how they just going all into this, you know, protecting this guy. I mean, everybody talking about the Washington Post, the New York Times, the New York Post, everybody, right? Now, let's talk about the stand your ground law. Let's talk about that. When Trayvon Martin was killed back in 2012, the stand your ground law came to the forefront, and we all was talking about the stand your ground law, how it's just a green light to kill black people. We don't see a bunch of white kids getting killed with the stand your ground law. We just don't. So we knew it's been a problem, but I'm going to tell you what happened to us. Once again, we don't want to do what Dr. King done, whether your opinion of Dr. King or whatever. When it came to that Montgomery bus boycott, he got a law changed because of that. We as black people, when it happened to Trayvon Martin, we knew about that Florida stand your ground law. Yes, many of you protested. Yes, you know, many of you wanted the law changed. Of course, those Republicans didn't change that law, of course, because you didn't keep the pressure on long enough for them to change that law. The only thing they understand is money. And as black people, what we should have did all over the country is got on one code and said this: okay, as long as you have that stand your ground law in Florida, and we have now 2 people who lost their lives, and you're backing them up behind the stand your ground law, we're not going to patronize you, Florida, because you have a law where white supremacists can kill us with impunity and they get away with it. And the sheriff is not going to do nothing. The local police is not going to do anything. They're not going to even be arrested. It's just that simple. As black people, us have to understand that we must take part in our own liberation. We can't depend on white daddy to come in and save you. You can't look at the Congressional Black Caucus to come in and save you. You must save yourself. And everybody, if they got on code and said this: I'm not stepping foot in Florida till their laws change. If black people would take away all their talent, say I'm not performing nothing in Florida. If black people would say I'm not vacationing in Florida, like forget Disney in Florida. I go to Anaheim, California if I'm gonna go to Disney. I can go out there, and actually the weather's a lot better in Anaheim, California than it is over there in Orlando. A whole lot better. Not as hot and nasty and muggy. And if black folks say I'm not going to Disney no more, not in Florida, because they got to stand your ground law. I don't know, some white supremacist can just kill me and just say that I threatened him and he get away with it. No, because as these people see their demise coming, they're getting more and more violent. And as they get more and more violent, and you know the law is slanted in their favor, then you must take responsibility, black man. You must take responsibility, black woman, to say that Florida's not going to get my money. I'm not vacationing there. I'm not holding no events in Florida. I'm not doing nothing in Florida until they get that law off of the books. Because you ain't lost a thing in Florida that you got to go there and not be there. You got 49 other states you could be in. I know some black people say, well, Texas has a stand your ground law too. Texas have what you call, the main one is a castle law. And a castle law in Texas, if someone tries to break into your car and you shoot them, nothing will happen to you. If somebody tries to break into your home, and actually the law is they cross the plane of your door. For instance, if somebody breaking your house in the middle of the night and you kill them, you're not going to jail. But now, if they run out your house and they're running away from you and you kill them in the yard, you can't do that. You can't. If you have a business and someone break into your business in the state of Texas, give me a second. You can shoot a person. If you kill them, you're not gonna go to jail. That's most of that castle law in Texas. That's a good thing. That is not a bad thing to have that. Because trust me, if you breaking in my house, you looking to go see Jesus, obviously, because you're not. No, it ain't nothing to talk about at that point. So that's a good thing. But much as people are in Texas, you're talking about people gun-toting Texas, we don't have a whole lot of issues like that constantly, even because a lot of people are armed here in Texas. Black folks are armed too. Trust me, don't think black people aren't armed. Black people don't have their concealed carry. You know, you don't advertise when you have a concealed carry. You never advertise if you have a gun. You don't advertise your firearms. You don't advertise your money. You never advertise that. Keep that quiet. Let people assume what you have. But we, as black people, since we know Florida, this is the second time, what are we going to do about it? If all we're going to do is say it's messed up, well, let's give the sister a GoFundMe. Okay, that help the sister out. I'm all for that. But what are you going to do about stopping it from happening to another black man or black woman? What are you going to do? Don't tell me you want something to change, but then I see you talking about, I'm making vacation in Miami Beach. I'm going spring break. Do you realize you can get killed at any moment down there and nothing gonna happen to you? They're gonna say stand your ground. These Klansmen could just kill you at any moment. So what are you going to do about it? That's the only thing I'm telling you. The ball's in your court now. You can get a law change based on, trust me, the moment you boycott. And remember when we did the live stream about from Memorandum 46, and they said one of the things that they fear is a boycott. They don't fear you protesting. They don't fear you saying, why are you killing us? They don't fear that. They don't fear you saying Black Lives Matter. They don't fear that. What they fear is you boycott and saying, I'm not spending a dime in Florida. I'm not buying gas. I'm not doing nothing in that state. Matter of fact, I'm moving out of this state because they got a law in the books where they say they can kill us with impunity and they get away with it. And blacks can't use that law. Ain't no way I can stay there comfortably knowing that. And now you just seen another black person and get killed. And this sheriff that over there in the area of Clearwater, he's defending this guy like he's his lawyer. Literally. You say if Florida's not safe, you left, good. Black people need to have an exodus out of Florida. That'll show them. Trust me. If black people just start moving out of Florida, just to start coming out left and right, like, where are the black people going? They be asking that question because you know what? They're looking at the money you spend it. You say, I don't feel safe here because they got the stand your ground law. I can be killed at any minute. And all these black people just a mass exodus out of Florida. Trust me, they'll fix it. They'll fix it. That will make the news. African Americans are moving out of Florida because they say they don't feel safe, that they could be murdered at any time. And the government in Florida will back it up. Oh, they'll change it because they don't want that kind of name put on them. They're just killing black people. The NAACP talking about a travel ban. Maybe you should put out a travel ban on Florida. Since they still got that stand your ground law, I mean, these are things that we can do as black people. Because you know you can't go beg them for anything, and your black politicians, they're not going to do anything either. So either boycott Florida, which I have no problem boycotting Florida. Listen, we got a lot of great people that watch the show in Florida. Great people. You know, and I really wanted to go to Florida because, you know, we eventually we're going to do our book tour. I want to go to Florida, but how you gonna feel safe going to Florida? And they got a law in the books where white supremacy just kill you and get away with it. And you know, you could look at a white supremacist a certain way and say, he threatened me, so I had to use deadly force. He looked at me. I mean, I thought he was gonna like touch me. And they're like, okay, oh yeah, you're right. That black man, he's big black man. Yeah, I guess go home. You good. You know, I see people saying, well, Florida ain't the only one that got to stand your ground law. But 2 black people got killed and the law is backing them up. So you make Florida the example. See, when people do that, people want to not do anything. And we have a group of, we have a lot of people in our community that don't want to do nothing. They don't want to do nothing. Anything to inconvenience them, they don't want to do that. But when it happens to their family, then they start thinking, man, I should have did something. Man, I should have helped change this. We saw what happened to Trayvon. We saw what happened to this brother named Markeis trying to defend his girl. But I didn't do nothing because I wanted to be comfortable. Yes, Florida is the home of Zimmerman. You're right about that. And he's still running around. Boycott Florida. Move out of Florida, black people. That's how you make, you want it to be a white supremacist conclave? Cool. We leave. Just leave. There's plenty of states you can go to. You can stay in the South and still the cost of living can still be good. You worry about the cost of living. Leave. Let the best and brightest leave first. Who's paying all their taxes? Leave. Boycott Florida until that stand your ground law is repealed. And then the other states say, wow, we got that same law in the books. Man, we better change that. We don't want that to happen to us. But we love the revenue from these black folks. You're right. You say, why tell the athletes to commit to playing outside of the state of Florida? Yeah, tell them don't go to University of Miami. Don't go to University of Florida. You go everywhere else but there until that law is changed. It's not safe for a black man or woman in Florida. I was talking to my barber, and he was telling me that his wife, the other barber is a Mexican guy, a real cool guy. His wife, and 2 more other people who are, couples that are black. They went to Florida, and they said they was just so hungry. They stopped at an IHOP outside of Panama City, and he said the moment he walked in there, he said they were just looking at them like they was crazy. He said that they sat down. A white woman went to take they meal, they order, and just kept looking at them funny. And said the white woman said in front of him, I can't do this. And he heard the white woman walk out and say, they just sicken me. I can't stand the look of them. And then they say he had some other white folks walked up to him and say, hey, you know you at? And like, no. It said, you shouldn't be around here. It said, you probably want to go down there because we don't want nothing to happen. I said, so basically it was a sundown town? Because if Florida has sundown towns too. They tell you, when they telling you, hey, you probably don't want to stop, get gas here. You don't want to, appreciate them for putting you on game. I'll say, hey, I appreciate it because they didn't have to do that and get on down the street. But I tell most black people, do not stop in those little towns when you're traveling. Only stop in major cities. Major cities where we at. Don't stop in these little small hick towns to eat or get gas. Don't do that. It is, especially now, it is not safe. Now, we used to have a book called, I think, the Greens Travel Guide, not mistaken. And what it was a book that came out every year for black people where they can tell you what cities to stay away from, what businesses to stay away from, what gas stations, what hotel, whatever. They tell you everywhere to stay away from. And they also will give you all the businesses that are black owned, even black owned hotels at the time period when we had black owned hotels, telling you where to stay when you go to these particular cities. It was just basically keep you safe when you're traveling. Now, they don't make that book anymore, but we really need that book to resurface once again in every state. Say, hey, go to this city, stay away from X, Y, and Z. Go over here, eat here, whatever, just to keep us safe. But black people definitely need to boycott Florida. Yes, that book is still relevant. It sure is. So we need to boycott Florida. It's just that simple. And if the black people that live there, okay, was to make a mass exodus, let me see something here for a second. Just give me Let's give me a quick second. I need to see the population. Give me a second. Okay, according to the 2005 census, 17% of the population of Florida is African American. That includes Afro Caribbeans. So, and you know, black people spend more money than anybody else. So what if 17% of their population just left? That would be, and then they will say we're leaving because we fear that we can be killed for any reason, and the stand your ground law is the reason. If black people, we're not willing to boycott Florida, then this is going to keep happening. We can't just keep spinning the wheels. And that's what we do in our community. We spin the wheels a lot. We say, oh, this is bad, XYZ, and you don't do nothing. And it happens again. Oh, this is bad. This is racist. This is that. And you don't do nothing. And it happens again. You have to do something. And this is something legal you can do. This is not illegal. You're not doing nothing wrong by saying, I'm not living here no more. F this place. And if they stand your ground law, I can't live here. And you bounce. Black people have done the Great Migration many times in this nation. The last one they did out of the South, when they went to Chicago, when they went to the West Coast, you know, some of them, you know, went further up east. But we did Great Migration before. Do the research in the history of our people to get away from persecution and our lives being lost. So we can do that again. We can have a Great Migration. We can do it to other states. We can do it to the continent of Africa if we want to. I mean, it's our choice. But we can't just keep putting up with it. That's the thing. That's where it comes to our personal responsibility. Are we going to continue to put up with it? Are we willing to take the money away? Take our talent away? Talk to our sons and say, son, I don't want you to go to school over there. Matter of fact, son or daughter, I want you to go to HBCU. Why don't you bring your talents over there? Academically and sports. If all our talented black children would go to HBCUs, do you know these so-called big time Division I PWI, which is predominantly white institutions, do you know they'll go to crap? The only reason, it's just like what I talked about in the last live stream about France. France is only first world because of Africa. The only reason most of those PWIs make the money they make is because of black talent and black players. If all the black people would go to HBCUs, I promise you the revenue will go up for the HBCUs. All the NFL scouts will go out there, whoever else looking for talent of these black men. Same thing with the basketball. The black HBCUs should be winning the NCAA Final Four. It shouldn't be no PWIs. No, we have to start training our children to go to the HBCUs. And that's the same thing I told my daughter. My daughter runs track. I want her to get a scholarship at an HBCU. I talk to her coaches, which are brothers. I say, if you got a relationship with an HBCU, I would like my daughter to get in there. I think she would do great at an HBCU. That's what she needs to be. I want her around people that look like her, that she ain't got to worry about her roommate sticking a toothbrush up her behind and she brushing her teeth with it. Like the young sister, Chanel Jazzy Rowe. Because she didn't want it in her room. Calling her Jamaican Barbie. Yeah, you can do all of the gun range if you want to, but these laws are slanted for them. You want to fight? Look, take the money away. It's easier. Some of y'all want to do things that you know you're gonna get screwed over with in the system. Take the money away. Why can't some of you understand the concept? Take the money. That's all they understand. Boycott. Take the money. It's free to take the money. What's so hard about that? They're not selling you oxygen in Florida. Oh my God. Did you just say that you buy rims? Come on, man. As black men, we got to stop that crap. Rims ain't doing nothing for black men or black people. Buy the car. Let me tell you, buy a car as is. A car ain't no good the moment you drive it off a lot. You lose $10,000 to $12,000 of value. So what that is a, Warren Buffett, he has a lot of money. He said a car is the worst investment you can ever have. Well, let me see, Alexander. Hold on. You just told me something. Let me see. Let me look. Let's see. Hold on. Alexander, got you. Thank you. Ryan Cruz, thank you. Sister Tiffany, you said you remind me of what my mother taught me about our people and how we are treated no matter how great our status is. We are always lumped together. You're exactly right. That's why you never get to a point that you're acting so brand new, because no matter if you got money or you're broke, we're all in the same thing together. So keep yourself, humble at all times. Keep yourself that way. You're right. Definitely. Take them, like you say, take the money away. If you're not willing to do that, now, I got such a great story, about, oh man, but I'm gonna have to hold that story back until. No, I'm gonna tell you this story, but I'll probably tell you guys on Patreon first, and before I tell everybody else. But I have such an awesome story about us doing things together and united, but something that recently happened. But take the money away. And if you're not going to do that, then what's the point? They're going to continue to stand your ground law. Like I said, do you understand this man was killed in front of his child, 5-year-old son? He was killed. His 5-year-old son the last thing he saw of his father die. And this white supremacist, he get to go on. He don't get to get arrested. He have the sheriff defending him. This is what that child has to see. So now you had a child that had his father in his life. Okay. Now this child don't have a father anymore. He's fatherless at the hands of a white supremacist. And a lot of our people back in the day, including now, lost a lot of their fathers that way. Imagine the hurt and pain that child gonna have to go through, missing his father, and then hearing on the news that the sheriff is justifying the murder of his father that he watched get gunned down like a rabid animal. I say these people are evil, man. They evil to the core. Evil. Even if you agree with it or not, it's certain ways to say things just to keep out of it, so you don't come off a certain way. And that sheriff didn't care nothing about that family. He didn't care anything. All he cared about was defending his white supremacists. They have a history of calling black people the N-word and threatening people. I don't do that. I do not start GoFundMe's for I'd rather the people start their own GoFundMe and I donate to it, or I tell you guys to donate to it. If she started one, great. If she contacts me, hey, I love to talk to the sister. But I don't, because my thing is I don't want no one to say, oh, well, he's taking. Nope. You start it. You control it. I donate. I tell my people to donate. That's just a way just to keep us out of it. Yes, they are obsessed. If you didn't watch our France live stream, please go watch it, how deep they are into Africa. You know, like if you know what happened with the Maxine Waters thing, and it has nothing to do with Maxine Waters, but how all those black people was just on straight code. And if the majority of us would get on code like those black people got on code in front of Maxine Waters' office, and if they would get on code like that in Florida, a change will happen. You know, a lot of us believe that we're so weak and worm of the dust and we don't believe in us. And that's what really they keep. That's why they stay on top of you, because you have so much fear. You know, when you get to the point that you're like, man, look, I ain't worried about nothing. It is what it is. When you don't fear it no more. And the problem, a lot of it is, some of y'all have taken on the role of the colonizers as well. Some of you have religiously, and say, well, you know, I don't really believe in God like that. Man, listen, you come from spiritual people. Africans are spiritual people. You always know there always was God or something greater than you. You always knew that. And if you tap into that, that's where your fear goes away. That's why you don't have fear. You say, shoot, the only one I'm going to fear is God. That's it. Everyone else, forget them. That's where your strength comes from. But see, what happens is with this, you know, colonized version of Christianity is they don't teach you what the scriptures teach. The scriptures teach you fight back. The scriptures teach you make a difference. You get involved. You don't just sit back and say, oh, I'm going to wait for God. That's why nothing happens. God waiting on you. What are you going to do about it? Why are you waiting on me? I've given you the strength. I've given you the ability to think, speak, see, hear. You in your five senses, nothing wrong with you. What are you going to do about it? And that's what God says to black people today. What are you going to do about it to liberate yourself? I already given you the tools. I've given you the knowledge. I've allowed many people to come and educate you into the truth. What are you going to do about it? Don't look up at him. Look at yourselves. He looking down at you saying, what are you going to do? My people, you going to liberate yourself? It's like children, when you do something for your children and they never learn how to do anything. And then when you cripple a child that way by doing everything for them, you never get rid of them and they never become adults and they just stay in your house forever because you just done everything for them. Well, think about that's wisdom to say that, no, you're going to go out and you're going to liberate yourself, because if I do it, then you're not going to ever know how to do it when another enemy come your way. So the reason why we are in this predicament is because we choose to look at everybody else. Well, I'm waiting on God. God gonna do this. No, God waiting on you to liberate yourself. And then when you finally do it, you're like, man, we could have been free hundreds of years ago. Liberate yourself. You still waiting. Stop waiting. Get involved. Boycott. Move 17% of y'all. If you move out the state of Florida. Don't do no business in Florida if you can prevent it. People who got businesses, you know, you can probably avoid it. Come on now, we got to do this for the people. Or if we're not gonna do it for the people, then we just need to stop talking about it and move on. But what's the point of moving on? It's gonna keep happening over and over and over. And all y'all, I'm mad. All y'all say that. I'm pissed. My blood is boiling. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Just say you pissed on the internet? Your blood is boiling. Now turn that into action. That's what you do. Say, my children aren't going to no PWIs in Florida. My children are only going to HBCUs. I'm not going to take no vacation in Florida. There's plenty of beaches all over this country I can go to. I ain't got to go to Florida. They got too many white supremacists down there. 60.1% of the population there, they say it's white, 2.1% is Asian, 1.4 they say is Native American, and they say the remaining 20% are so-called Hispanics and Latino. And I say so-called because it's not a race. So blacks are outnumbered in Florida anyway. You need to strategically move places and get our population numbers up. That's what we have to do. We have to be smart. You ain't lost nothing in Florida. If you leave your hometown, you ain't got, trust me, the world is where you can go. You know what I'm saying? Go to another state, like I say, travel to an African nation, you know, save your money. We're gonna do another show on plane tickets. And some of you got to start saving your money a little bit better instead of, no offense to you, my friend, but buying rims. Usually rims cost money. Them rims could be maybe a plane ticket or two for your family. You can go to the motherland and visit. You say you got Confederate flags everywhere. Yeah, I heard that about Texas recently. We have a lot of blacks, in Texas. Well, I definitely tell you, in Houston, blacks do very well here. Blacks are very successful here. And like I said, where certain people are at, but as long as you're in Texas, as long as you're in the major cities, man, you fine. Like I said, Houston got a black mayor. A lot of black people are in position here. Austin is another one that a lot of people be at, but Houston definitely. I'm more prejudicial about Houston. Hold on, I think I need to give a shout out to somebody else, just real quick. Sister, I guess it's a sister. Okay, Quabina Bryant. Hey, I appreciate what you did. You said, wish I could do more. Look, you did enough. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Primitive people want to kill L Boogie. People who smart knows that I can do things without doing that. It's easier to take your money. It's easier to pool your resources. Actually, I was doing a lot of research into Kenya. Y'all can start some businesses in Kenya with not much money. You can get office space over there with not much money. You could live good, like rent, if you want to pay rent or even buy something. Man, you could live like a king over there. I was just doing the research. And I was like, man, we killing ourselves over here trying to pay rent. And then over there, you can live like a king or queen in different areas. I told my wife this, and she's on board, about it, in which she's going to be on board about it regardless. But I told her I gotta buy me some property in the African nation, period. I'm looking. I said, I go to Ethiopia, I want to look. When I go to Kenya, I want to look, and I want to have some property and some place to go in an African nation. It's just that simple. And I want all my people to have the ability to go there. This is why I promote you guys. Get your passport. It's less than $200. You don't have to go to an African nation right then and there, but save your money. It may take a year. Put your money up in an account. Save it. And then you got your money together. You never know what may happen. Instead of using your income tax to pay bills, because that's not your money anyway, use the IRS money you get once a year and say, I'm going to take my kids to the motherland. Why on top of me saving my money and just enjoy a good trip? Yeah, Dallas is, is good for blacks. That's I'm not saying it's not, but I'm just saying that just, what I know, more black people are, doing very, very well here. You say racism is getting worse. Of course it's getting worse, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna worry about what myself, Well, you know, one person asked me a question about Ethiopia. Listen, it's my desire to try to visit all of the countries in the continent. But I told my wife eventually what I want to do, but this might be later in life. I definitely want to set up my stuff in the African nation. And what I would like to do is go back and forth, like, you know, stay so many months, you know, then I come back, you know, go back and forth. I've known people who've done that, and they have really built themselves up by going back and forth, because sometimes you may still have to be making money here, so you need to be taking care of that too. But our money here goes so much further once you bring it over there. I know Dr. Moonby, I was at, because some of y'all was talking about certain things, so I asked her some questions about over there. And do you know that like a personal bodyguard, like a bodyguard over there, to be with you like every day will only cost you $500 US a month? That's it for a personal bodyguard. That's nothing for every day. Think about that. Now imagine if you tried to have a personal bodyguard here with you every day. You're not gonna pay no $500 a month. It ain't happening. You know, trust me, when I go, I'm going to try to find out all that information, guys. You know, trust me, because if George Soros can be a dual citizen in the U.S. and Hungary, why is it that we can't have it in certain areas? You know, because I want to find out and say, look, are you guys open, you know, to your African American, you know, brothers and sisters who wants to come? I say, because, you know, if I'm talking to them, I'm saying, look, we want to come. We want to, you know, contribute. We want to make, you know, this country great. We have a lot of, you know, great education, you know, a lot of educated brothers and sisters. We have people who are good with their hands in this country, too. There's blue collar workers that can really be a help. You know, some of you guys have knowledge and you could be teaching classes and starting businesses over there that you would never have the opportunity to do here. So I'm going to go talking and get all the information I can. Yeah, I heard Boston is extremely high on houses. That is high. In Texas, if you bought a house that's $400,000, oh man, you living like a king and queen down here. Yeah, I heard about Ghana with that. A lot of us go to Ghana, but you know, I guess maybe the Lord didn't call me first to go to the Horn, you know, of Africa. And so that's where I'm gonna start. Most people start off in Ghana, and I guess my journey starting off in Ethiopia, and I know for sure Kenya and probably South Africa will probably be definitely on the list. Well, yeah, you know, traveling do give you a better perspective, and also, you know, you talking about coffee. You say franchise in Kenya is owned by African American in Kenya. That's awesome. You know, Ethiopia is big on coffee. Tanzania is big on coffee too. Now, some of the best coffee I ever drunk was Ethiopian coffee. So, I was like, hey, I need to see. You know, they told me about the coffee exchange over there in the capital. I said, man, we need to get down to that coffee exchange, because if you can get a direct plug with the coffee, and like even you get enough coffee beans, even if you used to sell the coffee beans online, but at least you get a direct plug, that's all you need. That's all you need. Trust me, I'm always looking into ways to have businesses, because you know coffee is like I say, that stuff moves like illegal drugs. People drink coffee all day, many times a day. More of us need to get into coffee. Yeah, so they told me about the plug. They told me about the people over there. So like I said, I'm telling you, I want to keep a great relationship with them. You know, you got some people, oh, why you want to go over there with those people? Because they invited me. That's why. Why wouldn't I? You say you got a coffee addiction? Some people do. And that's why I say Ethiopian coffee. Like I said, that's something. Look, every person I've ever given Ethiopian coffee to, They've been like, oh, where this coffee coming from? This coffee is good. I said, it's Ethiopian coffee. They're like, I never had nothing like that. You know, I mean, the smell of it, how strong it is and everything. It's like, shh. You say you want some coffee right now? Yeah. You think, well, why do we have our own school for kids? Because we don't create them. That's why. I mean, it's just a simple answer. We don't create them. Hey, look, I don't care who like coffee. If I'm selling coffee, anybody's welcome to buy. Anybody's welcome if I'm selling it. I'm not discriminatory when it comes to business. No. Everyone is welcome. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's been it's past our limited time, but well, thank you for joining us on the show tonight. Well, we had this with our second show. We have on our original Black Panther shirt. You can also get one of them in our Teespring store as well. Thank people buying shirts. If you haven't donated to the crowdfunding, we got less than 30 days to go. Actually, yeah, less than 30 days for sure. Help us hit that goal. We are on the downhill slide with that, and we'll let you know when we hit the goal. So make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell. Always do that if you can. We're working very, very hard every day to put out news stories. I'm working extra time. I try to put news stories out on the Advice Show Media channel. So make sure you go subscribe to that channel. Subscribe to the Cops on Blast channel. If you go to my channel itself, look to the right, and then you will see all of my channels and everything that I have. Correct? Well, you know what? Let's do this. Instead of telling you guys this, let's just go ahead and show you better than I can tell you. Because some people are like, well, where that's at? So let's do that. Let me see. Where is it at? All right. So if we just real quick, won't take much of your time. Just so you guys can see it. All right, if you look on the right-hand side right there, it gives you it says featured channels. You can go subscribe to Brother Derek as well. Sister D, I need to talk to Sister D. She's been doing a lot of things, getting a degree. Kellen, you can subscribe to this channel as well. But all these channels, just all you gotta do is run through here, subscribe, and know every last one of them, and then you will be connected and plugged in to what we have going on. So thank you for listening, ladies and gentlemen, and see you on the next upload.